Good afternoon. Welcome to the CUNY Peer Leaders Showcase. I am Lauren Melendez, co-director of the CUNY Peer Leaders Program and admin specialist of the Futures Initiative at the CUNY Graduate Center. Kashima, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hello everyone. I'm Kashima Hutchinson, a co-director of the CUNY Peer Leaders Program. I'm happy to be here and thank you for joining us.
I would like to acknowledge my colleagues who will be moderating at today's showcase, including Dr. Hutchinson, also our Futures Initiative and resident fellow, Habte Selassie, a PhD student in developmental psychology program at the CUNY Graduate Center. And last but certainly not least, our colleague, Sean Lin, who will be tech support today, who is a Futures Initiative fellow and a PhD student in geography at the CUNY Graduate Center. We would like to thank our colleagues, staff, faculty, students, friends, family, and other guests who have taken time out of their schedule to join us today. We are currently in our second year of the CUNY Peer Leaders Program, which supports and teaches CUNY undergraduate students from across the 2- and 4-year campuses, leadership and mentorship skills that they in turn use to create pathways for humanities-based scholarship with a core component on social justice. Dr. Kashima Hutchinson and I, as directors of the program, make it a priority to lead with culturally responsive pedagogical practices and have created a program that grants our students a variety of community building meetings, workshops, and enrichment opportunities designed to explore concepts of voice, respect, critical and creative thinking, and presentation of self, which are essential in leadership, but also speak to having a culture of care, which we pride the program in being able to provide to these students. Our session today will be a public showcase and preview of our leaders' final projects that are still being worked on and will be completed and due on May 20th. We have grouped the presenters by theme of their project. I, along with my colleagues Kashima and Sham, will be the moderators for each group of presenters today. These presentations will last 3 minutes in length, and we will have time for a brief Q&A session at the end of each group of presenters and possibly time for a final Q&A at the end of the presentations, if there is time left over. When we get to the Q&A time for each group, please feel free to use the raise your hand feature, unmute yourself and say your question, or you can put your question in the chat. We will now at the run and show. Everyone should be able to see the public run and show in case you want to follow along with the order of the presenters that will be going today. I will be moderating group 1, in which the theme of the projects featured is mental health and self-care, except for our very first presenter, who is Ian Fernandez, who has a bit of a time constraint today and has another commitment soon following this event. So he is going to start us off, and his presentation is not on mental health and self-care, but is a song he is writing for a musical he wishes to make in future regarding his experience working at an upstate sleepaway camp as a bunk counselor. Without further ado, here is Ian Fernandez with his presentation.
Dear Diary, day 14 of my 65-day trial at camp. It's my last night before these kids come and all hell breaks loose. To think I got scolded by the boss at 9 a.m. for a minor error. I do like my co-staff though. Naz, Jonah, and Hugh. They're all vets here at the camp and they treat me like we've known each other for years. That being said, though, I do have my complaints about them. Naz has probably one of the most carefree attitudes I've ever seen in somebody. And even when something serious is going on, he just doesn't care. And then there's Jonah. He's so kind, but he has the most monotone voice ever. I feel like I'm talking to the Terminator every single time I talk to him. But don't even get me started on Hugh. God. We gave him the moniker Hugh Janus because his ass stinks up the whole bunk whenever he takes a dump. What's worse is that he sleeps on my side of the bunk and I have to be smelling that every single day. I don't think this is getting to me. But at least on an unrelated note, I started coming up with some melodies in my head. Da-na-na-da-na-da-na-da-na-da. Da-da-da-da. Oh, 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 oh. I just really hope these boys appreciate the talent I got. I was hired here for a reason after all, so I'm going to be the leader that I can be for them. Dun, 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 dun. Yo, you call me accountable, call me an animal. Got the brain of a duck, got the strength of a bull. I gotta push on when they tell me to pull. I believe in myself because I get A's in school. Half my life I've been hiding, I've been living through hell. But I always got up every time I fell. No matter where I'm at, I work everybody sell to keep my spirits up, to keep myself well. Cause I'm a beast and I don't care what other people say. I'm gonna always fight on, I won't turn away. I'm a fighter and a leader. Oh yeah, I'm an ace as I rise up and fight to get a smile on everyone's face. I imagine my life like a 4-number spinner. I won't give in, I'ma wind up the winner. I have God as my witness, I won't be a sinner. The ones who treat me bad, I'll eat them for dinner. I'll never give up, down deep in my bones. Yo, I'm speedy and I'm needy, I'm like the king of thrones. I roar like a lion, the king's big groan. I'm just like Medusa, turn body into stone. Cause I'm a beast and I don't care what other people say. I'm gonna fight on, oh yeah, I won't turn away. I'm a fighter and a leader, oh yeah, I'm an ace as I rise up and fight to put a smile on everyone's face.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, Ian. Thank you.
I
And
apologize
good luck today, Ian.
at the beginning.
Yes, I know you can't stay with us, but good luck.
Oh, sorry, break a leg, break a leg.
Yes, break a leg in
Thank
theater fashion.
Are there times for like any questions, comments, or anything towards me?
Yeah, because Ian can't stay with us. So if anyone has any comments or concerns, feel free to unmute yourself and you can tell him now. Otherwise, we're going to lead to the next presenter. Good job. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you, Ian. Okay. So our next presenter is going to be Aaliyah McCoy.
Hi,
Aaliyah,
everyone. Yes. Okay, so let me share. Sorry, can you guys see the?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
we can.
So my podcast is called The Butterfly Effect. I chose that name because the topics I'm covering I find so important in mental health, and they all coexist together. So I thought it was really important to make it show the growth, because a butterfly doesn't stay in a cocoon forever. So here we go. Make sure. So hi everyone. Today I am starting my podcast that's going to be on a few different topics. I'm going to be covering mindfulness, anxiety, grief, and letting go, which would be your final act. Today I have Allegra here with me and Summer, and we're just going to start off with a 20-second meditation just to reset ourselves and get in the mood. We could just take a few, whatever breaths you need to take. And okay, so now we're just gonna come back and we're gonna begin with mindfulness. So my first question to you guys is, how do you feel today? Are you feeling present today?
Should I go first?
Yeah, we can start off with you.
Okay. For me recently, every day, there are moments of presence and then moments where I feel out of it. It kind of changes hour to hour for me recently. So today's kind of been the same. There are moments where I felt really centered, really calm, other moments where I felt anxious and kind of like more agitated. That's what I think.
How about you, Selma?
Same. I'm present right now, but I haven't been present all day.
I feel you.
It varies from, like Allegra said, moment to moment sometimes, or like even a task, like depending on what I'm doing.
Do you think that sometimes you may feel less present when you don't do your routine, like your morning routine?
I'm not a like strict routine person where people are like, I do everything by the hour. Like that gives me anxiety actually. But routine type things like stretching, yes, but you know, waking up the same time, like not stuff like that, but routine type things, you know, or like rituals. Let's think that's better. Like rituals keep me.
Okay, so it's just a snippet. The podcast will be available on Apple Podcasts, as well as there's a playlist that's available for you guys to listen to my music and my guest music. We all collaborated together to make a whole playlist for you guys. So it's to zen you out, anything you think of. And I also leave it open for other people to add the music that they find soothing as well. So thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you, Aaliyah.
No problem. Okay, how do I?
Your two bar in the middle. You could stop sharing.
Okay, I'm like, how do I? Oh, technical difficulty. How do I stop here?
Okay, it happens.
Oh, it's
Stop
paused.
share.
Oh,
Awesome.
okay, I got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaliyah. Okay, our next presenter is going to be Katelyn Madera. Katelyn, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Hi, everyone. All right, so I'm just going to share my screen. All right. Okay, let me just put it onto present mode. All right, so my project is a poetry book that I'm writing poetry and creating artwork for. It's currently called Lying to My Therapist, and it's just I'm just showing you guys a sneak peek of what my poetry book is going to be about. So hi, I'm Katelyn Madera, and I'm compiling works for a novel and just helping to bring awareness and to advocate for students who have been experiencing burnout, imposter syndrome, depression, anxiety, and ADHD. So just as a note, some of the animations have flashing lights. So if you're sensitive to that, you can look away from the screen. But I'm excited to share with you all. All right. So my first poem, I would never lie to you. Everything is just fine. I slept for 8 hours, got up before my alarm. I worked out and did yoga. I ate a balanced breakfast. I drank 8 glasses of water. All my homework is finished. My workload is completed. My social battery isn't depleted. So I'm a liar. Everything is on fire. I only slept for 2 hours. I accidentally turned off my alarm. I did a sit-up getting out of bed. I shoved a piece of bread down my throat. I drank 3 shots of espresso. I forgot to do my homework again. Still, shit, I forgot I have that email to send. If someone even looks at me, I'm going to fucking cry. And then this next poem is a very near and dear to me. It's called Overwhelmed. Always wondering why, everything is never enough. Time seems to pass her by. Unyielding determination, playing the game of fools, finding comfort in isolation. Scars that had started once filled with disdain now start reappearing. Thought things were getting better, but everything is ablaze. To all those she loves, she writes a letter. Never stopping to catch a break, driving at full throttle on an empty gas tank, forgetting that there's a break, hoping that she'll crash, then maybe it'll be quiet as all her worries disappear into ash. So those are all the poems I have. This is just a snippet. So thank you guys for listening. And if you guys are experiencing depression or just a hard time, just know that you're not alone. There are other people with you, and I'd like to create a space where everyone feels heard. So thank you again. And my Instagram handle is below. So if you guys just want to chat or just talk, hit me up. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Katelyn. Okay, I would like to introduce the next presenter, which is Nina Hogan. Nina, are you here? Can you hear us?
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome.
Hi. Alrighty, I'm gonna share my screen. Let's see. This is gonna work. Alrighty, sharing my screen. All right, so we're going in present mode. So this is a presentation. My presentation is about being a woman in a misogynistic world. That's the name of it. Okay. Now, how do you hit next? Okay. All right. Okay, so about me. So I'm Nina. My name is Nina. I'm a junior at John Jay College, right? And this presentation means a lot to me because I have experienced sexual violence, both as a young teenager and a young adult. And I feel like people need to be educated on the trauma and the ways that it plays in people's lives. So according to the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, an individual is every 68 seconds is sexually assaulted. And on average, there are over 463,000 victims a year in the United States, just based off of sexual assault. This is just a preview of my presentation. I still have a lot more to add, but okay, one second. All right, so the definition of sexual assault is the act of forcing a person to engage in sexual activity. Okay, wait 1 second, I'm sorry. This is trigger warning. If anybody I know this is a really sensitive topic and I meant to say that the first thing I said, but this is a really sensitive topic. So if anybody's not comfortable with this, just a fair warning. So individuals between the ages of 12 to 35 years old are the highest risk for rape and sexual assault cases. These rates are going high. I wanted to throw these statistics out there before I even talked about the sexual assault, but I guess the presentation had went past it. So the odds of getting attacked by a shark are 1 in 3.75 million. Getting attacked by a snake, 1 in 40,000. Attacked by a dog, 1 in 70. The odds of getting physically abused by a person happens every minute per 20 people. The odds of a physical violence upon a person is 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men. And every 9 seconds, a woman is getting assaulted or beaten. So these are some really heavy statistics that people, it's like a lot of people, it's a saying that, you're scared to go in the ocean because you're scared to get attacked by a shark. But the fear of getting attacked by another human being, another person, is a lot greater than being attacked by a shark in the water. And a lot of times people don't take it seriously that these types of things happen to people.
Hit the right arrow, Nina.
I'm hitting it, it's not working. Okay, but yeah, I just talked about this. 82% of assaults occur to juveniles, to people in the school system, to kids. And a lot of people don't want to talk about that. I have a quick TikTok video. It's only it's not that long. Can I show it? Okay.
Sure.
All right. So this
That's
is from the show Euphoria. You know,
He'd walk her home from school every day. It made him feel good to know that he was there to protect her.
Okay. I know this is a fictional show, but this is very real. And I said this when I was breaking down Nate, like a lot of guys who are protectors, they protect the women they're with like you would have a car alarm, like a security alarm on your car. They see you as property to do with as you please. I'm not saying all men who are protectors are like this. I think there's a very healthy way to approach life as I have more muscle mass, so if something happens, I'm going to step in, right? Like that's fine, whatever. But there's a difference between that and I own you. What do you do with a computer that's not working? Like you hit it, or a dishwasher, like you pound on it. That sounds awful. Like it's the punchline of a terrible joke, but I'm being very serious. If my car's not working, I may get out and kick it, right? Because it's mine and I'm frustrated with it. And this is how abusers see people. You're not doing what I want you to do. You're standing up to me. You have dreams of your own. You're pursuing things that I didn't give you permission to pursue with your life. You're calling me on my garbage.
all right. So that was just a quick video. I thought how it was interesting. I never even thought of it in that point of view of how abusers could like see like how they look at people, like how they look at their victims in a way, how they don't even see them as people, but they see them as property, you know, in a sense. And these are other statistics of domestic violence. 10 million men and women experience this violence. 24 people per minute are victims of rape, stalking, physical violence. More statistics. This is PTSD. A lot of survivors of this attack, of any attack, often experience post-traumatic stress disorder. And it's a common when you're dealing with something as serious as this. And it's really tragic because, I mean, look at the symptoms of just it, of flashbacks, hypervigilance, anxiety, insomnia, headaches, etc. It's like a lot of things just because of one action that didn't need to happen. And I want to take into consideration this picture of this shows how a healthy brain versus an abused brain. And even this little excerpt of what I researched, it shows that the amygdala of traumatized individuals is often overly sensitive, and in the result, it becomes alert and their perceived threats becomes overly heightened. So their fight or flight reflex always is heightened in these case scenarios. As you can see, these two brains are obviously really different, from a healthy individual child to a orphan who's, you know, extreme deprivation and things like that. So this is something that I think needs to be taught, not necessarily the full extent of these traumas, but I think if kids 12 years and up are experiencing sexual violence or any type of violence in the home or even in school, like it says 1 in 10 high school students experience partner violence in the United States. I think, I don't know, in my school district, I mean, I'm from Jersey. I mean, I didn't hear anything about domestic violence in school or even partner violence or any of that nature. And I think teenagers, if they're allowed to read textbooks that talk about rape or assault because it's mandated for them to read, I think they need to learn about educating themselves on this type of problems, because this happens. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men experience domestic violence. And I think there needs to be more, you know, more integration between mental health learning, because this affects your brain. Trauma affects the brain. Assault of any kind affects the brain. And it's not taught in schools, and I think it needs to be educated. Just from my personal experience, I've had a lot of terrible experiences dealing with men. And I think, if I had learned the risks of dealing with dangerous individuals, and a lot of these dangerous individuals are people that these aren't people that you don't know. It's like, I got assaulted by my friend that I had cared for a lot, and it's hard to deal with that. And so, but this is just like a brief sneak preview of what I'm gonna go more in depth about. And these are just some resources and hotlines in case anybody, needs them, It's not.
Thank you so much, Nina. I don't mean to cut you.
I know, it's okay.
Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing the resources as well, because it's a very heavy topic.
Yeah.
And apologies that we didn't say upon going into the topic that it would be a sensitive one.
Yeah,
But
I meant to say that.
yeah, no problem. Thank you so much, Nina.
Thank you.
If anyone has questions, we'll be able to do a brief Q&A at the completion of this group. Is Ruksana Ruhee here? Ruksana, are you here?
So my project is a writing piece accompanied with artwork about grief. So this topic is really important to me because it's something that I've been dealing with since I was young, and I feel like everyone goes through that at one point of their life, whether it comes to dealing with losing, a really valuable relationship, or losing someone that is really close to you, like a loved one. And I just wanted to portray my emotions and stuff about kind of just give a little bit of just show how going about it and stuff. So my initial intention was to physically draw it, but I have not had too much time due to a lot of final schoolwork, working and stuff. So I did do some digital artwork. This is the first one. I titled it Hole in My Heart, and I just wanted to portray how it feels like the emptiness inside, and how you have a void from losing the one that you really loved. And then you're constantly thinking about them, which is what I kind of depicted through this celestial person over here. And then the other one is called Reach the Portal, where you're always where you feel like you always want to be with the person that you have lost. And then this is let me share my writing piece. So this is what I wrote. I can quickly read it. I wrote, how does one stay restless in the dark? Perhaps someone that carries a troubled heart. It is disguised under the labor of day, but only in the night it is displayed. No matter how much I go about tossing and turning, it is impossible to relieve this agonizing burning, like a fire that encompasses the heart all around and over my soul where it cannot be watered down. It is ablaze when there is a conscious mind of witnessing souls taken in front of my eyes. Reliving the anguish of seeing their departures fills my breath with an unexpressible torture. The mind loses its sanity to imagine that my steps are taken above the ground in which she rests, and even some nights I want to run to that open field and dismantle the ground in which she is sealed. When she lays limp and motionless above my hands, I want to scream a howl in me that no one can understand. It is a grueling act to possess the light of day or hope when you have learned all your life to cope. Like being bludgeoned with the sharp knife of a short life, I am bleeding out inside me again, unstoppable this time. I've learned that time doesn't heal your struggles, yet it teaches one to live with their troubles. It doesn't minimize the heart-shattering agony or erase the torment of the memory. When I finally began to shut my eyes and stop thinking in my dreams, it is them who I stay chasing. My heart bellows the pain of seeing my Baba and my Rimi. I don't want to wake, but I yearn to stay sleeping. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, I don't think that Renee is here. So Favor, are you here?
Oh, yeah. Hello.
Okay, there you go. Yep, we can hear you.
So how can I share my screen again?
Bottom green button.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, should be in the middle of the toolbar. There you go.
Oh, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So hello, good afternoon. My name is Favor, and my project is about the power of saying no. I chose this topic because personally, I feel like I grew up in a situation that's not in a setting whereby saying no was seen as a disrespectful or as a way of you not putting other people's feelings first. And so that kind of in a way affected my self-esteem, mental health, and saying no was like, oh, if I don't say if I don't say no, I'm going to disappoint this person, or I'm gonna like put this person down. But as I grew older, I began to realize that there are certain situations whereby you need to say no, regardless of what feelings you're hurting, in order to help yourself grow better. First of all, mental health is the state of or well-being of an individual to carry out daily activities, cope with stresses, and be of benefit and use to the community society. It's also how we relate, react to situations, and conduct ourselves in certain events or situations. Saying no is just not a word, but the word no is a word, but also a sentence, depending on how it is used. It carries more power and effect than it seems. The art of saying no, the art of saying no is the fact of putting oneself as a priority without compromising one's value, even if it causes discomfort to the other person or sometimes oneself. Saying no is self-respect, self-love, and self-care. And I have a 3 minutes video by Tony Robbins. Sorry. It's a 3 minutes video. It's a 1 minute, 5 minute video. I'm saying no. Oh, sorry. No.
You can't hear the audio.
I'm sorry. Say?
We can't hear it.
Oh,
Do you
you
have
can
in your
hear it?
headphones?
Oh, yes, I'm in the headphones. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Also, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Just lower the volume a little bit.
That is the end of the video, but I just wanted to say something real short. Why I chose this topic mainly was because personally for me, saying no was like I have to put people's feelings first, which is good and okay. But at the same time, I have to also realize that am I putting myself first? Am I also considering my emotions, my state of mind, my own person as a self? Am I putting my mental health first? There are certain situations where I deep down I know I should have said no, but because I wanted to please people, I wanted to, show people I don't want to prove to people something. I end up saying yes, and in the process, I end up hurting myself or putting myself in a dire situation that should have been avoided. Sometimes we have to say no to protect ourselves. We have to say no to also acknowledge that we are human beings and we have emotions, and our feelings are our main priority other than the other person. That is my project.
Thank you, Favor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Does
Wait,
someone
Lauren,
want to
before you
take this up?
proceed, just a friendly
Yeah.
reminder that the presentations are 2 to 3 minutes. So we want to be conscious and considerate of everyone's time moving forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so that concludes group one. Does anybody have any questions, comments that they would like to make for the presenters that were in group one? So that's Ian, Aaliyah, Favor, Katelyn, Nina, Ruksana. Does anyone have any comments, questions? Feel free to unmute yourself and you can say the comment or question. If not, we're going to continue on to group two. Okay. Some stuff going on in the chat. Okay. Okay. All right. I think we're good as far as the questions, comments. We have some activity going on in the chat, but I'll now pass it on to my colleague Sham. She's going to moderate group two. Sham, are you ready?
I am. Thank you, Lauren, and thank you to all of those who just presented such amazing projects. I'm going to be moderating this next group, and the next leaders and the projects that you'll be hearing about during this group section will center on social justice initiatives. So to start us off, I will pass it to Sam Asensio for their presentation.
Thank you. Hi, all. So my name is Sam. I'm actually returning to the CUNY Peer Leaders. So my project's actually kind of a reflection on what I did last year and kind of bringing it back and kind of trying to work with it. So kind of like a quick backstory. So Connections is actually a queer peer mentoring program. So it's something that I started on my campus to help students kind of learn what it was like to be queer and academically transition into college. So since then, a lot has happened since the first time. I decided to pursue research. We can see in this like middle picture, it ended up winning best e-portfolio. I ended up working with the founder to bring it to the National Association of Colleges and Unions. It helped found the LGBT Center on our campus, and it helped kind of kickstart the LGBT conference that you actually see over here, where I actually presented the work for the first time. It ended up winning the second year e-portfolio showcase, and it was really awesome because one of the mentees that I ended up teaching and helped founded the program, Faluke on this top right, actually got to give the graduation salute for our Lavender graduation at John Jay College and went on to start his own nonprofit. So a lot has happened since the first year, and it's kind of led to a lot of reflection for me as a person. And so that's kind of what this project is really about. It's kind of discovering, it worked really well on John Jay, but I really kind of felt like it would be a lot better if we were on a CUNY campus. World, like pretty much CUNY wide. So I started to work with the Bronx Community College and my mentor, Dr. McSpadden, and something that we've kind of realized with this was trying to find a format that worked with different sets of students and different needs. That's what Connections aims to do. It provides a service for students regardless of an LGBT center or LGBT center provider or even a women's center. The problem is that we have to find a balance between the BCC specific structures and the extent program. I'm not a student there, so I can't know everything, and trying to create these opportunities that, compare these program implementations as well as unifying these individual campus cohorts like the ones on BCC and the one at John Jay, right? So the significance of a program like this kind of moving from campus to campus is that not only does it help the service providers and the students and helps the campus overall, it helps with retention and student belonging, but also helps us connect CUNY-wide in the same way that this program helps all CUNY students connect. right? It also contributes to the future growth and the literature that you'll see with students, creating a bigger dialogue and allowing for research. As you can see in that first photo, I was able to present McNair research that is allowing me to pursue a PhD, but I would never be able to do it if it wasn't for the program that I created and the students that I was working with at the time. And so the problem that I arose overall with this program, and what you'll see as it continues to move forward, is that in light of the work that we did, there's a recognition that colleges are in fact silos. None of us would know that this program even existed unless I'm speaking to you right now. Maybe even people at John Jay don't even know that this program is a paid stipend program for students, right? And so there's not a lot of people who know about this work, right? So how do we get this word out and how do we educate people? And so that's kind of what I'm going to ask all of you to do now, is to take this time with me and to kind of reflect with this program and understand the importance of it, because this program isn't only just focused on queer students, it's a framework actually that you can apply to your own. Actually, I had a student come up to me and said that they wanted to work with undocumented students and create a similar program. And so that's exactly what we're aiming for programs like this. We want to manifest it so we can hand off this type of work down to people so that they can understand how important that is. And that's why we create these mentor teams and these quality teams between faculty, staff, and students and connecting them CUNY-wide. So that's kind of a sneak peek of what you'll see as you look at the program. We actually have a dedicated page, which I'll be posting in the chat as well. But thank you all for taking this journey with me.
Thank you so much, Sam. That was so informative and exciting work to hear about. And now I'll pass on to our next presenter, Dawn Ressy. Dawn, are you ready?
I think so. Hi, everybody. Just my notes here. Hello, my name is Dawn, and I am proud to be a CUNY peer leader representing both the Borough of Manhattan Community College and Hunter College as a first-gen college student of Puerto Rican descent. I would like to thank my fellow CUNY peer leaders, and most especially the Futures Initiative, the Mellon Foundation, and Kashima and Lauren and Sham for being there with us every step of the way. Keeping in mind our theme is advocacy, I'm viewing it via an intersectional lens with the politics of the brown, black, and female bodies. My project is a creative one. I've written a play, but it was inspired, it's a work in progress, but it was inspired by the images that you will see in my sneak peek presentation. I'm going to share screen here. See it? Why don't I see it? One moment. Technical difficulty. Screen. Okay. Okay, we can see it. Okay. See if it'll play. Sorry about that. Play that from the beginning. Okay. It's called 4,645. And if you're wondering what the number is, that's the number of people that several colleges, I think Yale was one of them, that thought that the number of people who actually died or were affected immediately by Hurricane Maria that hit the island of Puerto Rico was actually in the 4,645 number. The United States and Puerto Rico have yet to come forward and give real figures. The United States has been silent, but yeah. So it was based on those pictures that I started writing a play, and it's moving long. I've already shown it to a professor, and he says to keep going. He likes what he's reading. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dawn. And I agree, please do keep going. So I will push on to the next presenter, who will be Lionel Colon.
Hi, everyone. Let me just share my screen. Here we go. Okay. So can we all see that? Perfect. Okay, so my project is creating a CUNY-wide STEM hub. And what that is essentially a website that compiles all of the opportunities, support, any links, any businesses that can help any CUNY student that's trying to enter a STEM field. So why? What's the big reason why is this my project? Well, a few statistics. As you can see, at a senior college, roughly 70% of the student population is part of a racial minority, and at the community college level, it's about 85%. And yet when you look into these fields, when you look into anything in the science, technology, or mathematics, we tend to be an underrepresented group. And having worked with students in these groups and being one myself, I realized that there's a lot of help out there for you, but never is it really given to or available to you in an easy to reach and easy to find manner. So I wanted to create a focal point, so to speak, for any student that was going into CUNY that wanted to be a scientist, that wanted to be an educator, that wanted to go into any of these fields, to sort of go out and have a place where they can look and say, okay, here are my specific needs, what opportunities are out there. And so what we have here are some screenshots from my website. And the first thing you're gonna see is a quick brief section about what the website is, what the central point of the entire project is, and then it immediately goes into the different opportunities and sections. And I broke it up into 4 sections because I feel like there needs to be a holistic approach to supporting anyone that enters any sort of field. So we start off with like an academic section that'll take you through semester-long programs, fellowships like this one, tutoring in case you need anything to help support your academic needs. And then you can immediately shift into things like finances. So if you need scholarships to help pay off your classes, if there's any emergency funds that you might need, any grants to help support either your projects or education, it goes into that as well. And then I think more importantly, or rather not more importantly, but a section that's often overlooked is wellness. Because when you think of someone trying to enter into a field, a lot of weight is put into academics and your performance without acknowledging that wellness, whether it be sexual, mental, or just things like shelter and security, play a viable, like important role to that. So we have a section in which you can enter these areas, you can sort of see, okay, maybe I'm having trouble with my mental health and I need to talk to someone. What does my school offer? What does local businesses offer? Is there anyone that I can talk to? And it can offer sort of a central point for each of these individual things. And then lastly, it wouldn't really be a like STEM hub if we didn't find a way to connect you with different businesses, different opportunities that could give you hands-on experience in whatever field you were going for. So there'll be a section devoted strictly to that, and it'll break off into the sciences, engineering, mathematics, technology, anything you might need. The goal of this website overall is to take who you are and what you want to do and find the best way to support that. And future steps is just to sort of flesh it out and continue, and then sort of make more connections. Do some more research on the colleges. It can be rather difficult to find these links and opportunities. So it does take some time to find all the ones that are hidden away. And then lastly, creating a sort of long-term sustainable way to keep this information updated and consistent for students. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Lionel. Also very exciting work. And so to our next presenter, who is Ayah Djelil.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to share my screen.
Hi.
So the title of my presentation is Abolishing the Ideology of Orientalism in the Middle East and North Africa. and I'm a student at CUNY John Jay studying political science with a minor in Humanities and Justice and Middle East Studies.
Right arrow.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So growing up as a first generation Algerian American in New York City, I was always aware of conflicts occurring within our nation and beyond. I was exposed to multimedia, and as I grew older, I became more aware of misconceptions and stereotypes about Muslims and Arabs. I was appalled and disappointed as it was nowhere near the truth. I know that education is key to abolishing these false narratives and want to do more on my part to begin to change these notions. Orientalism. The ideology of Orientalism stems from the premise that the West are saviors for nations in the East and that Easterners need the West to save them. Essentially, the West is regarded as superior to the East and must save them from their own savagery. There are a variety of examples of Orientalism, including the world-renowned Disney film Aladdin. One major example is that the Western colonial powers often depicted indigenous practices as symptoms of the barbaricness, backwardness of third world cultures in contrast to the progressiveness of Western culture. Essentially, colonial powers fail to understand historical contrasts and present struggles for third world feminists and create conflict with women's roles and sexuality throughout society, viewing them as oppressed in a male-dominated world. My seed for advocacy. So these false notions sparked a passion for my human rights activism. I knew early on that I wanted to expand my role and offer my part in educating others directly supporting oppressed people in their liberation from their ongoing struggles adjacent to Orientalism, such as Indigenous peoples, the Black American experience, Palestinians' oppressions, and so on. There are countless oppressed groups across the globe that are suffering, and I wanted to create a tool to help educate. So with that, I decided to make my final showcase project an Instagram page. And in relation to this year's theme of advocacy and accountability was the main, what basically inspired me to create this educational platform for struggles in the Middle East and North Africa, while also acknowledging the diverse struggle and promoting unity amongst those with akin experiences. Being that in the past decades, social media has grown to be an outlet of news, I aspire to shed light on atrocities in the Middle East and the North African region with nothing but credibility and free from Western bias and perception. And you guys can take out your cameras if you'd like to follow the account and scan this QR code. It should work. And I'll also add it in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ayah, and for sharing those learnings with us. So that concludes this section of presentations. And so we want to hold space for any questions or comments. Feel free to unmute yourself or put in the chat with any questions you may have for Sam, Dawn, Lionel, or Ayah. Okay, if there aren't any questions at the moment, I will push on to pass it to Kashima for our next group.
Thank you so much, Sham. Great presentation so far. Thank you for everyone. Thank you to everyone who's been presented and everyone who's supported. Definitely the chat is live, so we definitely see the comments there. And so the next group of presenters that mainly focus, but not exclusively on identity, we're going to start with Avii Van Praagh.
Hi all, my name is Avi. I'm going to share a painting that I made with you and read a spoken word. The painting goes by the name Cyborg Baphomet. It is a mixed media piece. It represents the duality and the demonization of that which cannot be commodified by capitalism by way of being measurable. And I will be reading my piece, Is It Me or Is It Us? Us capitalized, stylized like US. All right. Ever since I was a kid, I've had panic attacks, bad ones. I wouldn't be able to breathe. And as I was gasping for air, I would have an epiphany, some big aha moment that shifted the way I viewed everything. One night when I was 12, I couldn't sleep. I had a moment that felt like someone punched me in the face with some truth that I couldn't deny. Any one religion could be right or wrong, and you will never know. Ego death at 12 is hard. Leaving your entire belief system and life behind because of it is harder. I have no idea if these truths are real, but it feels like the universe is speaking to me, like I am faced with some undeniable truth from time to time, courtesy of the universe, and I'm supposed to adjust my mindset and lifestyle accordingly. But I can't tell if these epiphanies are the product of the ills within the world or a product of the ills within me. Lately, these panic attacks have felt more like glitches, like I'm the sheep that accidentally breaks free of the protective fence of cognitive dissonance that surrounds my brain, keeping it from considering its own existence. I'm staring down the barrel of the void. I have no idea where I end or the universe begins. I live in mortal fear of the end of my existence and of the existence of those I love. It's like we're all on a conveyor belt to doom, and I watch those who came before me, those who shaped who I am, drop off into the eternal furnace in front of my eyes. I hate being stuck in a linear timeline. It suffocates me. I feel like I'm being crushed under the weight of time itself. Maybe it's the trauma, maybe it's the Wellbutrin, maybe it's the culture. Maybe I'm just seeing things clearly every now and then, seeing things as they really are. If that's the case, I'm fucked.
Thank you, Avi. The next presenter is Ellie Hubbard. Ellie.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, this should work. Okay, so I did my, well, I just wanted to say to start that this was a very interesting process for me because I normally don't really see myself as like the creative person or like anyone who's created a like something artsy. But I did my presentation on the emancipation of the female sexuality. So this is something that's really personal to me because I felt like female sexuality was something that has been really oppressed and under discussed throughout my whole life. And I kind of saw this throughout my academic career as a system of oppression by the patriarchy. So, you know, I saw like the lack of discussion about female sexuality and the uncomfortability that me and a lot of my friends faced, and just generally women and other groups have faced in regards to sexuality. So I made a photo series and I'm going to share 4 of the images, but I have a lot, right? I have a lot. So I'm just going to share 4 for right now. So my project is a photo series that aims to remove the shame of female sexuality imposed by the patriarchy. It's shot on film, so I did a mix of film and digital photos, and celebrates open, healthy sex, open sexuality, consent, and many other important components that are often swept under the rug. So I just wanted to do a little trigger warning just because this is sexually explicit material. So this is my first photo that's part of a series about female masturbation and the importance that discussing it openly gives to women. So yeah, this is my first shot. And then this is my second shot. It celebrates, you know, lesbians and female sexuality and just kind of connectedness. And I saw, you know, the like them holding each other's hands, and just the connection was really raw in this photo. And I really loved this one, so I wanted to show this. And then the next 2 are about open sexuality with sex toys. So this is one that reflects sort of the normalcy of sex toys and just kind of us putting it into the dishwasher with all of the rest of our dishes as like a, you know, nod to normalcy and nod to the normalization of sexuality. And then my last shot is just more sex toys in the sink. And this is just all kind of supposed to celebrate female sexuality, but I wanted to note as well that, you know, female is a very subjective term. So I didn't want to oppress any group by not including them in here. So I tried to utilize a wide variety of identities and body types and just everything that I could utilize. You can't really see it in this series of photos because it's only 4 out of like the 30 that I took. But I just wanted to emphasize that just because you don't identify with the term female doesn't mean that you're not represented in this series. And I wanted it to represent everyone and every person being free with their sexuality and not letting society oppress you for something that everyone does. And that's so normal. So thank you guys for watching.
All right. Thank you, Ellie. Next up, we have Malachi Davidson.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, cool. So like Hunter, this is my second time coming back to the CUNY Peer Leaders, and this is my second project that I've put together. So last year, I put together a multimedia magazine titled Think, where I had a bunch of different pieces all geared towards just for Black men and boys, especially during that heated moment that we were in the middle of the pandemic, in the middle of all this political and catastrophic things going on around the world. That project was meant to serve as an embodiment of my feelings during that time. And since then, that was a huge transitional moment for me because it was the first time I've allowed myself to see myself as an artist, as a creator. And it's been really challenging because there are a lot of stereotypes or like negative connotations that come when I think of the idea of me being an artist, of like declaring that to the world. It's always been something that's been really scary to me. So what this project that I've been working on this year, it's actually a collection of, it's going to be, it's a bit multimedia, but not really because it's spoken word, poetry, and songs all compiled through a hip hop lens. I'm going to be creating about an EP, about 5 to 6 songs titled Statement of Purpose. I titled it that because I'm also currently trying to apply for graduate school. So I have a lot of these same thoughts just spinning within my head, and I figured that this was the perfect way for me to really put myself on the map, not only just as a student, but also as an artist. And I'm going to be sharing one of my pieces from this project. It's actually titled Blue Pen, and it was written in response to a prompt that we got, our first blog post prompt for CUNY Peer Leaders, which was how do we create change within our community? So once again, it's titled Blue Pen, and I'm about to perform it to you right now. All right. Let me make sure everybody can see me. Yep. All right. I'll change the world with this pen. The only question is how. I've heard them say all is written, so I write everything down. When I paint in blue ink, I'm casting life to my words. Spill out my pain and just think about everything we deserve. They love to tell me I'm nothing, but I know something ain't right. So I'll lead this discussion. Let's talk about a Black plight. Was told we come from the bottom. We wasn't there from the start. Was a king till they robbed him of everything but his art. Born to a bright populace, known to put up a fight, but it's hard to raise a fist stressing about bills every night, or what the family gonna eat, or how the kids do in school. Another life was lost this week, the streets is acting a fool. The capital's still in shambles, the people haven't forgotten. It's irreversibly damaged, that tree has always been rotten, and here I stand 23, crawling out from under this boulder. Don't got no MVP, but I got chips on my shoulder. 60 months as a student, I'm about to get my degree. I'm satisfied I went through it, but more is expected of me. That paper won't suddenly change the life of my fam, but the doors it has opened will help us bring in the yams. Been feeling stuck in my thoughts. Do I stay in school or write rhymes? 5 years studying art, no, I'm not wasting my time. I'm no God, but I'm close. Still got some training to do. More dedicated than most, a little more hard-headed too. Not sure which way I'm gonna go, desperately dodge my demise, but if I master this flow, then could I actually rise? Blue pen, all right, and that's it, thank you.
Bars. Thank you so much for that, Malachi. No surprise, I must admit. Malik Brizan-Reed, you're up next.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, everyone.
Hey,
So my project is going to be about house music and pretty much what it means to me. So I'm going to share my screen right now. It's going to be a video. Okay, can you see it? Okay. All right, I hope y'all can actually hear it. Oh, and before I started, the volume gets a little loud when the music plays, so I don't want to hurt anybody's ears. So you could cut it down, but then cut it back up when I'm speaking. Okay. My name is Malik. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and I currently go to Craig Newmark School of Journalism. This video is going to be about my article, What's Special About House Music? And it is going to be a sample and a small sneak peek of what my article is going to be about. I really, really hope that you like it and enjoy. The article, What is Special About House Music, is going to be about house music from a personal Black perspective, right? So I'm going to give you all the information about where did house start from, which is New York, famous DJs that made house poppin', and how did it become so international that it is today. So you may also ask, why am I even doing this? Well, I love house music so much, and it's so interesting that a lot of people don't even know exactly what house music is, or if they do, they know more of a they know what house music is from more of a white perspective, right? And little do people know, like, house music is so Black, house music is so like hip hop and everything. So that's the main reason why I am writing this article from an ethnographic perspective, personal Black perspective. And you know what? It's very much needed. House music is a unity music, and it's what we need now to kind of unify us. Also in the article, I will link a playlist, kind of like a house starter pack, right? A playlist where you can listen to different artists and you will understand what I am conveying in this article, which is initially house music is a unity music. It brings people together, and it's just so beautiful. I really, really hope that everyone likes my article, and I worked really, really hard on it. And I hope that you leave knowing that, hey, house music is unity. And this is what we need more of, especially nowadays. Okay, let me stop sharing.
Okay, all set. All right. Thank you so much, Malik. We look forward to reading your article. Next up is Sayquan Wooden.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sayquan Wooden. I'm a student at Medgar Evers College. I'm majoring in English with a concentration in creative writing. Part of the CUNY Peer Leaders Showcase this year, I have a project that's called The Modern Sense. It's a collection of poetry, collages, and essays that focuses on creativity, self-identity, expression, community change, society, expectations, and more. One of the pieces that I'm going to be showing today is actually a poem that focuses on race relations in America and self-identity, and it's called Is It Reality? Here's the cover for my project. And here's the poem here. Is it reality? This was the poem that I wrote last summer while I was in Pennsylvania with my dad. It was more of a sit down writing, thinking about to myself, how is it being a Black man, and how all of the difficulties and hardships that could be derived from all the stereotypes and expectations that are put upon me and people in my group, in my community. Is it reality? Is it reality to conceal our experiences and opinions that are unpopular with the majority in order to avoid criticism? Is it reality to divide by grouping, separate but equal? Is it reality to ignore the content of one's character and label them worthless or even an afterthought because of their history, because of their skin? No determination or confidence, for no way ever imaginable. Is it reality to drive our actions into a lane of emotions and expect no responsibility for the crash? Is it reality for me to address you this way, or to find an answer for each question I ask? There are 3 sayings to every situation in life. Is it reality? It is reality. In reality, it is. I have a short explanation of the poem that I wanted to share with you guys. This poem is about the harsh reality of being Black in America. Despite the documented history of progressive movements changing for our rights and culture, there are still a multitude of hardships and discrimination that people of color face. Understanding that regardless of the success and contributions made towards society, it's inevitable for Black people to still fight off the labels, stereotypes, and racial biases that mirrors the America that once existed in a more sadistic time and era. The repetition of, is it reality, alongside the questions, leaves space for emphasis and interpretation of the matter in relations to the viewer's constant change in thought for a clear-cut answer to this complicated issue.
Thank you so much, Sayquan. And last but not least, Vaishali Patra. Yes, give it up, snaps.
Hello, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. My name is Vaishali Patra. I'm a media studies major at Queen's College, and today I'm going to be presenting a poem from my poetry collection. The poem is called Making Acquaintance. I lay out my brightest carpet and churn out refreshments to welcome my queerness. I ask her what it means to drift away from femininity and yet hold on to it during quiet moments. How has the weather been inside the closet for so long? There are no poetic words for asexuality. All of poetry is a celebration of the things I am not. Is this what it means to be in the closet, to mourn what doesn't even exist? I ask my queerness if she misses home, if she ever had one. Whom does she address her letters to, her odes, her elegies? She refuses to drink tea from a cup. Instead, pours it into the iris of my eye, watching it fuse into a new shade of brown. She tells me she has been at home all along. This was one of the first few poems that I wrote when I came to terms with my gender identity and my sexuality. It was a really difficult poem to write, especially because I grew up in a very conservative household, in a very conservative country in India where there's a lot of transphobia and queerphobia in general. And I never thought I would be able to share this poem publicly, but I think a part of this project has been to explore my identity and come to terms with it, to accept it. that's why I decided to share it with you all today. And I named this project Views from the Other Side as a way to reflect on the past. Like, after accepting my identity, how do I view the past where I was so unsure about everything, and I was so afraid of using the labels that I do now. I divided all the poems. There's 15 poems, and I divided them into 3 sections, and they sort of show chronologically the way that I first questioned my identity and then slowly began to accept it and be more vulnerable with myself. There's poems about being queer, but also about other aspects of my identity, like nationality, race, citizenship, and vulnerability, intimacy, all of that. So there's 4 poems in the excerpt that I put together, and these will be up on the CUNY Peer Leaders website for anyone who's interested. And the poem that I just performed will be in there too. Yeah, that's the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Vaishali. Does anyone have any questions for our presenters? I know the chat is going off, but any questions, anything you'd like to present to these? Okay, cool, great. All right, Lauren, you're up.
Okay, thank you, Kashima. Okay, so now I'm going to introduce group 4. The theme of this group is theory and exploration. And without further ado, I'm gonna pass the stage to Tori. Tori Caserta, are you here? Can you hear us?
I am, thank you.
Welcome.
All right, hi, my name is Tori. And I did, my project is rough. I spend so much time just writing these little snippets. So essentially what it is it's just a lot of non-chronological short stories, but they're shorter than short stories. They're snippets, they're moments. Mm-hmm. And I have tentatively called it The Shadows We Don't See at Night, because it's about a queer woman who is an addict, right? And she's a teenager and she's struggling. And I wanted there to be a progression where we see her do a lot of really bad things, and then we see her acknowledge the devastation of her life, and then we see her fall into the world of recovery in some way. But they're all gonna be mixed around. Some are in first person, some are in third person. And so to do it in this disconnected way is kind of hard because I don't know how it's gonna end yet. And I kind of wanted to have a little bit of the ending here so that you guys could see all of it. But because I don't, and I'm just finishing up a few of the beginning ones that I have that I'm gonna present as the final, I'm just gonna read you guys the little tiny introduction that I have. So let me do this. Okay, so this is the rough cover that I made. And this is the beginning. There was a time I thought it'd be all right. Today I'm not so sure. I can't follow it, can't trace it back to the source. But something is wrong. Everything I touch breaks, and everything that touches me breaks me. It doesn't seem right. I used to know a girl who once asked me, "How have you gotten this far in life?" She, like myself and most people I come across, could not fathom how I had lived so long, survived this world, my world. She came from privilege and thought I was trouble. I liked that. She was always a little bit afraid of me. I liked that too. She was safe for me, though maybe not with me. In her discomfort, she made me comfortable. I wanted her to have my babies. Let's get married. Let's go to the courthouse right now, I used to say, maybe once a day. She rarely heard I love you unless we were in a fight, but I must have asked her to marry me 1,000 times. She used to call me her Christmas baby. I never told her, but my mother used to call me that too. I was born on December 26, 12:06 a.m. My mother once said I was born 6 minutes late just because Jesus didn't want to share his birthday with me. She didn't say, Jesus didn't want to share his birthday with you. She said, Jesus didn't want to share his birthday with you. Although we haven't spoken in years, her voice still stays with me, her cadence, her tone. She was never a kind woman, but she chose her words carefully. I guess I'm like that too.
Thank you, Tori. Are you done?
Yeah, sorry. That's the end.
Thank you so much. That was great. Xueqin, can you hear me? Are you ready to present?
In this project, it's a collection of essays, poems, and photos. I share my twin flame journey and use the information about the following: twin flames, light workers, star seeds, soul contacts, and much more. My project will give you some advice about how to be part of star seeds. I will also help you understand the soul contact and let you more understand those spiritual persons. And if you want flames, I hope project will give you more strength and patience to wait for the twin flame union. What are twin flames? Twin flame relationship is one soul in two bodies. It's a romantic relationship based on spiritual awakening. They connect with each other at the heart chakra, so they could communicate by telepathy. Twin flames and yin and yang. One is feminine energy and the other is masculine energy. It's not about biology says it's the energy, and our soul is no gender. Twin flame union is the most sacred arrangement from the universe. The time of twin flame union may be in your 30s, 40s, 50s, depending on your spiritual growth. What are light workers? Light workers are souls who carry a strong inner desire to spread light and love on earth. They sense this as their mission. They are kind-hearted, sensitive, and apathetic. By experiencing different kinds of obstacles on their way, their life provokes them to find their own unique path. Light workers are able to serve others. They are high sensitive people because they easily pick up negative feelings and moods from people around them. It's important for them to spend time alone on a regular basis. This enables them to distinguish between their own feelings and those of others. Light workers just to be yourself and to align with your truth. It's enough to inspire others to make positive change, to heal and ignite the light of another soul. What are star seeds? Whether we call them new children, elite children, crystal children, rainbow children, or diamond children. These star seeds are cosmic beings reincarnated to Earth to aid in Earth's evolution. They are the people who brought the fifth dimension to Earth as part of the divine plan for the universe. Most illegal kids are between the late 7th and the early 9th. The law is to inspire change at all levels of society to make the planet a peaceful place. They were called rebels, rebels. Crystal kids were born in the mid to late 1990s and until now. Their is teaching you how to live with heart. Rainbow children began to enter Earth from 2000 until now. This is the first incarnation to Earth. And they came here to have unconditional love and play an important role in the new Earth. The diamond child is the newest child. She resonates with the highest frequency of divine, pure, unconditional love. They are healers moving forward. As Earth's frequency rises, the large number of diamonds will reincarnate on the Earth. Diamond has the most advanced psychic skills, including telepathic communication. How to be parents of new Earth child? At present, more and more new world children incarnate on the Earth. These children don't always understand and accept rules. They had their own rules brought from elsewhere, completely different from the Earth. So we should show a lot of love and peace to them, make their journey easier. Also allows you to grow in holy love and give unconditional love. These children are often telepathic, able to read your mind and understand what's going on under you. When they understand what they are here to do and what their mission is, they are invaluable to mankind. What is soul contract? All souls sign contracts before we came to Earth. We discussed with our guided spiritual team a few topics we would like to learn in this lifetime. From a human point of view, we tend to want a peaceful life. But from the soul's point of view, what the soul desires most is to grow and evolve. Therefore, the soul tends to choose a life full of difficulties and challenges, so that they can get the biggest growth in the shortest time. The ultimate goal of every soul is to learn to love unconditionally. How do you know if our contract with other people is over? We have what we also contract with family, friends, and partners. The contract is as time limited as any contract. So there's no way to leave the relationship until it's over. Because this is set out in the contract so that we can learn the subject during this period of time. If we don't learn during the time of the contract, then after the contract ends, we may continue to make a contract with the same people in the future and continue to work on the same lessons until we learn. Similarly, if we have learned the lesson in advance, we can decide to end the contract early and let the people out of our lives. How do you know your contract is over? Can you see if there's no way between yourself and the other side to learn from each other? Has the relationship started to stop, not continue to help each other grow? This usually tells you the contract end. But when the contract is over, it doesn't mean we have to leave the person. We can go to our spiritual guide, draw up a new contract so that the relationship can have a fresh start. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Xueqin. Thank you. That was great. Okay, Jasmine, did you work out the technical difficulties?
Yeah, Kashima is gonna share the screen.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, hi. First slide. Hi, everybody. I'm Jasmaine Brathwaite, a graduating creative writing major at Brooklyn College. I joined the CUNY Peer Leaders with the goal of researching for my first novel. And with any research, it starts with looking at history. So next slide, please. Space and the deconstruction of time as our savior. So humans have been using storytelling to pass down wisdom to their offspring since the dawn of time. We can see that in the way humans looked at the stars and how they told stories. No matter your own relationship with astrology and astronomy, the moon, the planets have effects on people and our Earth. For example, when the moon is in a certain phase, the tides of the sea goes up or down. Now, as a human who has to farm and not drown, that is very important wisdom to live. And when you have children, hopefully you would create a story to pass down that wisdom so they live, and that cycle goes on. In the context of Afrofuturism, that is very important. The concept that we looked to other people, the land and universe, for wisdom and passing it down is a very powerful tool in the sense of Black people and creating our own identity. Afrofuturism takes that concept of storytelling, time deconstruction, and uses that to fight against our own oppression. Next slide, please. In literature, we see this with Tomi Adeyemi, Octavia Butler, and amongst other authors. Personally, I'm a fan of Octavia Butler. But here's a few titles if you are interested in that. Next slide, please. And the link. Thanks to CUNY Peer Leaders, we went to the Met a few weeks back, and we saw an exhibition talking, exploring these concepts with physical things. Seneca Falls was a society of Black people, a society of autonomous Black people who was unfortunately deconstructed, and the fragments of the society is used in the exhibition. The aspect of fragments being part of our history is not a problem, because it's in our DNA to take fragments and create something new out of it. So for any oppressed people who feel as though they don't know themselves because that history is fragmented, it is in your DNA to take those fragments and create something out of it, so our offsprings have a better chance of knowing themselves. Thank you for being with me on this journey as I create my first novel. Thank you to the CUNY Peer Leaders for supporting me on this journey.
Thank you so much, Jasmine, and for still presenting even with technical difficulties. And thank you, Kashima, because she is at the Graduate Center presenting in our space. So glad it all worked out in the last moments.
Thanks for waiting for me.
Of course, we're not going to come this far and then you not present, you know that. So I would like to thank everyone for joining us today. We want to just open up the floor for Q&A for any of the presenters. If anybody has any questions, any comments, now would be the time to just let us know. If anybody has any questions for any of the presenters that have presented today, groups 1 through 4. Comments, questions. In the chat. Okay. Questions, presentations, that's so great. Okay. Anybody want to unmute themselves? Any comments, questions? Could be your fellow peers as well. You all took the time out to present today. This has been a year-long project that you've all been, working on. It's a snippet that we showed today, but okay, Malachi, unmute yourself. Go for it.
Yeah, I love showcases because it's just an opportunity to see what we've all been working on over the year. Like it's just amazing to sit in the spaces and meet with everybody, on those 1 to every 2 week cycles, and then to see what we've been working on at the end of the year. It's just crazy to see how everybody takes their personality, puts it into their project, and is really passionate about it. And you can pick up on that when we present it. It's kind of weird though. It's like I was working this hard and you was working that hard and you was working that hard. It's just like so much work is going to be submitted. Like it's going to take me a long time to go through everybody's project, but like I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you, Malachi. Anybody else? Questions, comments?
I'm just gonna jump in. I would just like to say thank you to you, Lauren and Kashima, just for, letting us be ourselves and giving us a space where we can be ourselves and where we could feel comfortable to be ourselves and letting us progress this wonderful work. Like, everybody's projects were so amazing. Like, I'm literally so proud of you guys, as well as myself. I would have never thought I could make a whole podcast by myself and just feel so confident about it. So thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to be us and to build a community together.
Thank you so much, Aaliyah. So proud of all of you. Sayquan, you could go next.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I'm just basically mimicking everybody else's words, but man, it was amazing. I think the one thing that's kind of being overlooked too is that, when it came to our presentations, we had to pick a specific piece that we were going to present. And, obviously you don't want to give away the best of your material, but I feel as if, no matter if people felt it was their best or, their worst, I feel that it was amazing, in its own right. And it's just a representation of, what we've been working on all throughout the year, since late August, and also how some of this art has been incorporated to our experiences throughout the year and things have been going on personally and throughout the program, and I also just want to give, another thanks to Lauren, Kashima, and Casey, to being a part of this experience is just, one that I'll never forget, in a lifetime. When I first started, it was, a new concept to me, and just being adjusted and meeting all of the people and understanding what our projects were going to be about and how this could be very special, and I think that when it comes to the future of this program and how potentially more and more people get to know about this opportunity, I think it's going to bring folks into the right direction of what we're trying to do and what we're trying to make.
Thank you so much, Sayquan. Thank you. Katelyn, you want to go next?
So Sayquan said a lot of what I wanted to say, but thanks again to Kashima and Lauren, and a special thanks for Malachi. We were in the same poetry class a couple semesters before, shout out. But without him, I wouldn't have ever found this program. And I was like, I'm not sure if I should, but Malachi's like, do it. Like, he was like encouraging everyone to do it. And he spammed the chat with links. So thank you so much. And everyone's poetry is so amazing and inspiring. Like, I loved seeing how different poets write. The artwork is just amazing. All of you guys are so talented. So good luck to everyone. I can't wait to see everyone's final projects. And thank you again for coming.
Thank you so much, Katelyn. Anybody else? Any questions, comments? I don't know if I missed anybody.
Someone has a question for Sam. Samantha has a question for Sam.
Yes, Sam for Sam.
Yeah, Samantha.
The question is, how do you intend to build on this research in the future? Sam, that question is for you.
Yeah, it's a good question. Sorry, my camera decided to give up on me. It's fine. So currently my research is basically understanding service providers. What I've kind of realized is a lot of people always look at kind of the service itself, kind of like campuses. So there are a lot of people are like, oh, we should have an LGBT center. And yeah, that's a nice thought, really. But when you actually look at the assessments itself, it doesn't really track, especially for a school that might have a little room and they put an LGBT flag and they're like, we did it, pat on the back. That doesn't actually mean anything. And for me, that was kind of frustrating. And in building the program that I had, it was kind of just I wanted to do something more than that. And I wanted to give students kind of the vision, the ability to kind of create what they wanted. But in terms of research, it is a lot. There's not really, I don't know if you've ever read Matt Brim, Poor Queer College Studies, but if you ever have the time, I would suggest reading it to really kind of see how that research can expand. I think personally what it would really mean is kind of looking at these LGBT service providers and kind of developing that research further and understanding the literature that needs to be behind supporting mentoring programs like this and supporting service providers. I alone can't run 56 connections chapters. That's completely up to students, and that's what this program is about, is giving students the agency. Because I will honestly challenge all of you to try to find an LGBT PhD program. I can assure you there's not. They don't exist. And that's an unfortunate truth, but, in building, places in literature for these students, that's something that we can do. And I think this is just kind of like that base framework for students to explore that space. So I definitely say, in terms of how I look to progress the research, or how I, want to build on the research, it would mostly just kind of doing interviews with these service providers, developing a new assessment, and kind of taking the second chapter of connections that we are having now, and kind of understanding, how that framework can be retrofitted per campus and per campus population to build it within the CUNY system, and then move it into the private systems.
Thank you, Sam.
Any other questions? Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you so much, Dawn. So I'm just going to really quickly do the closing remarks. That way we can, as in respect for time, go eat or do whatever it is that you need to do. So this concludes our showcase. I want to thank all the leaders. It's been quite a year. The year's theme, you chose accountability and advocacy. And I'll say, as a collective, you're accountable and advocated for each other and yourselves by showing up every other week, supporting each other through the WhatsApp, blogging, and sessions. As I cited Lauren in the summer, you get what you put into it, and this is very evident. A lot of people ask how the program is still successful through a pandemic, and we look at them a little baffled and simply explain that we have a culture of care, and if you care, you will find it, right? If you have a culture of care, you will be able to respond and understand and read between the lines when someone is not okay and how to address them. When you have a culture of care, it's centering who you're working with and who you care for, which is you, your uniqueness, which comes first and always. Hence the 5011 emails about your stipends that I sent, caffeinated and otherwise. But I would also like to thank Chinyere Okafor and Casey Holman, Lauren Melendez, all my Sham. I'm gonna mess up your last name, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Habitalis and Sujin Kim and everyone, and Sean Lin, everyone who contributed in some capacity to the CUNY Peer Leaders program. Without it, it wouldn't be what it is. And so as you go on to next year, we thank you for everything that you do. Continue to do what you do. Continue to lead the way you lead. And we will hopefully see you if you're returning. If not, congratulations and much success to the graduates. Take care. Have a good one. The application is now live. The link is in the chat. Check it out. Take care. Be safe. Any other closing remarks, Lauren?
No, I think you covered everything, but I want to say to the leaders, don't sign off. Stay behind if you can. Thank you everyone for coming. We really appreciate you. Friday, this time of the semester is a tough one. So thank you again for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed our showcase. Thank you so much.